In the beautiful life. I hope you are having a beautiful day. I hope you're taking care of yourself and safeguarding your energy from people who, I don't know how to love the way you do. Before we get started, let me light this Palo Santo. By the way, I just wanted to take the time to thank anybody who has stopped by to and taken the time to remotely be interested in any of my content. Honestly, I just do the videos because it's a good outlet for me to express myself. Because, as you know, as a loner, it's really hard to find people to connect with. So, this is my way of putting the information out there. Yeah, I think I spent a good part of my life, like, I don't know, trying to connect with people. But I noted like a lot of people can only go so far. And that was that. Which is fine. When I look back on it, I'm kind of happy that not many people understood. And I also started understanding why they didn't understand. I think it has to do with like your soul age. Like, I feel like baby souls, younger souls, souls that are still in the process of maturation, they're still living their life and garnering experiences in order to gain access to like deeper knowledge, deeper insights, deeper wisdom. It's like when you have a baby, you can't expect the baby to understand like how to run or write an essay, it's still learning. So we can't, I don't know, people know or they don't know, and it is what it is. They can only comprehend to the level that they have, I guess, graduated to. Anyways, this video is going to talk about, I hope I can say this word right. I tried making another video and I could not pronounce a word for the life of me. Desensitize. Desensitize. Yeah, really interesting. So today I did take some time to get my nails did. I don't do it often. I don't really like maintaining it, and also I don't know, I don't know. But I wanted to do something fun and I got my nails did. And my nail technician, she's the sweetest girl. I told her I wanted like real flowers in my nails, and so she made it happen, and I'm super stoked on it. But while I was at the table and getting my nails done, she brought up something that was really interesting and fascinating to me. That's what I love. Like when you find those few rare gems where like you can connect on that level, and it's so like satisfying. And she brought up the topic of desensitization. Desensitization. That's a tongue twister. And she was like, "Yeah, haven't you seen like videos on how like people desensitize their pets?" And I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "No, because I don't have any social media aside from YouTube." And she was like, "Yeah, they desensitize their pets so that they don't get like triggered easily, so that they have a, I want to say, calm nervous system." And I was like, "Oh, so they're like not easily startled." And she was like telling me, "Yeah, check out like the like horse videos where they desensitize the horse." And I mean, it makes sense. So, like, if you're riding a horse, or you own a horse, or you're trying to take pictures with a horse or use them as, I don't know, I don't do that. But, anyways, you obviously don't want them to get startled easily. So, you don't want them to kick you or like start like racing off because, something startled them. So, she was saying, yeah, there's videos on people desensitizing their horses. And I was thinking about it. It kind of activated my brain. And I was like, I'm like, well, humans are animals too. So, can't we desensitize ourselves? And then it opened up this whole can of worms, and that's why I'm making this video. So I think desensitizing ourselves, or desensitizing people in general is a double-edged sword. Um, on on the positive side, you can regulate your nervous system. You can stay calm when you're encountering things that are, I want to say, triggering. Yeah, you can stay calm, because you're desensitized. So I feel like, on a positive note, it's definitely a good methodology to, I want to say, practice self mastery. But on the other end of the spectrum, it could cause you to become numb and apathetic and, just like not caring and normalizing like really toxic and detrimental behaviors. So it just depends, like any tool, like how are you using the tool? And then I started thinking about myself. That's what I mean by opening a can of worms. I'm like, hmm, makes sense. And what I mean by that is, like, I think the people who watch my video are probably empaths, probably highly sensitive people, INFJ, whatever you want to call it. All of these are just labels to kind of help us understand what's going on. But I was thinking, like, yeah, I think a lot of the people who watch my videos, including myself, we've been exposed to a lot of like toxic environments and toxic, people and toxic relationships. And, I think it's really prevalent when they say, like, oh, empaths attract narcissists. And then, we're like, I don't know, we can open up more cans of worms, but my whole point is, like, I think we were being trained to either, the way I see it, especially in this dualistic dimension, like, you have two choices. There might be more choices, but I think the most, like, I want to say, obvious choices is one, you can use your experiences, of being abused to either perpetuate the cycle, and then you go and you start abusing everyone else around you, or you can go and take another route, which leads to healing, to self mastery, to self awareness, to self regulation, to like breaking cycles, like, how that feels. You experience deep pain and you've decided, like, I don't want to inflict that pain on someone else, and I think that's where people pleasing is born. It's just like we recognize, like, okay, this is very painful. This is very uncomfortable. I definitely don't want to inflict the same pain on someone else. It is projection. It is projection if you think about it, because not everybody will like navigate life the same way you do or see life through the same lens or make the same choices as you do. So we are projecting, but I think we are projecting in a way where we are trying to heal versus hurt. That's the difference. Like any tool, you can either build something or destroy something. So yeah, that's where my brain was going during this conversation, of desensitization. Am I saying it right? I don't know. Um, yeah, and I was thinking, and then I went down into, like, I opened up a channel where I was thinking about all the abusive experiences I've had and all the abusive relationships I encountered and the people who were involved. And I think when I was going through it, it was so confusing. And I did encounter a lot of hurt. And of course, when you're hurt, there's anger and there's resentment. And, you know, I want to say a denser form of those emotions can, equate to like hate. But I never really hated anyone. I just was, I know for a good part of my life, I was very confused. I was very hurt. And the hurt was unresolved because I was looking for the perpetrators to, like, resolve it. And no, the resolution comes from within. You have to give yourself the resolve. You have to allow yourself to feel like all of the pain and sadness and hurt and resentment, and let it move through your body so you can release it. You have to sit with it. And I've noticed, like, in order to really like release it, you have to almost like separate the emotion from the storyline and just feel like the emotions in its rawest form in your body and just sit with it until it like works itself out. That is the most effective way that I found. I'm sure everyone has their own way of dealing with it. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I was thinking about all the people. I even have a couple of like difficult people currently in my life that I am contending with, and I just, instead of playing the victim card, I just look at it as an opportunity to fine tune and hone in on my self mastery skills. So it's a form of, yeah, desensitizing myself. So whenever I encounter people who are abusive, and I've said this in other videos, like, we think abuse is physical, but in its more subtle forms, it's mental and emotional. And I think we're only like waking up to that fact now. Like, it's not just physical, guys. It's definitely mental, emotional. The words that were said to you, the way someone made you feel, the way, you know, um, yeah, those, it's invisible, but it's there. That's why, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm more interested in the subtler aspects of life, like the things that you can't physically see, because it's obviously there, energetically. I see everything through a lens of energy. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, and then I started thinking, like, because I gave myself the time to self-reflect, because I gave myself the time to process and transmute and release the energies. Now, in hindsight, I can look back at the perpetrators and I feel absolute gratitude, because they were like professors of character building. If you think about it, like if you were attending a course, and they were the professor, they were teaching you great character building skills, and also self mastery, and also like how to protect yourself. Like, if you want to equate it to like a warrior or a soldier, how they have to go through intense training in order to build up this resilience. Yeah, that's the way I see it. In fact, I feel like you need to be exposed to things, very uncomfortable things, for a prolonged period of time in order to build up like a practice or a skill set, like a warrior. I know, like, for instance, I think kings in medieval times, or even before medieval times, they would purposely take poison so that they could build up their resistance to it. So if somebody tried to poison them, it wouldn't affect them, you know? So, same thing. I think we are just kind of like navigating life in such a way where we're learning to be masters of ourselves. We're learning to be, um, I want to say, masters at like energetic. I don't even know the word, honestly. Like, energetically interacting in such a way where we can, like, if you look, obviously I don't fight. I'm not a boxer or a MMA fighter, but I know like basics where, they have to block, or they have to like throw blows, I prefer like what comes to mind is like, those kung fu masters where like they don't even really like exert too much energy, and all they do is kind of flow and like move, and like somebody's trying to like punch them and they just kind of move, or they use the opponent's energy against them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I see them do that in like tai chi and like yeah, martial arts. But I'd like to say we do that on a very subtle energetic level, or we're learning to do that. learning to be masters of that particular trait. We're activating that part of ourselves. Yeah. So, anyways, I was thinking like, I no longer foster like any animosity towards my perpetrators. I am definitely not playing a victim card. And I just have like deep gratitude. I know this sounds weird. Yeah. Um, Also, I'm not saying tolerate. No, you do not tolerate, but it's almost like you have to like be exposed to these things. I feel like kids who are coddled and like super like no, like overly protected, like they don't get exposed to these things. So when they encounter difficult situations or uncomfortable interactions, it's really hard for them to navigate. But yeah, like for me, like I still am very sensitive and I still am very, I want to say empathic, but I've learned how to, like the Tai Chi master, I have learned how to like move away from energy or like send the energy back. You know what I mean? Effortlessly. So, yeah, I don't know where you are at in life, but this is just food for thought. Um, and I just wanted to make a video about it because I thought it was fascinating. And it started off with getting my nails done, and then my nail technician telling me about, yeah, desensiti- desensitization. Yeah, and it was just like talking about animals and then horses, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, humans are animals, and I'm an animal, and I'm a human. Well, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and oh, makes sense now. Especially when I started like piecing all the different avenues of information together. Yeah. Anyways, if you learned something from this video, cool. If you didn't, that's cool too. I gotta take a nap. Yeah, I'm like a cat. I need my nap. Blessings to one and all, and thank you for stopping by. Amen.